Hey youngins, it's Meemaw. Today we're going to make some chocolate chip cookies, and I've got a secret ingredient that just makes them wonderful. So many times we don't think about making chocolate chip cookies until we want to make chocolate chip cookies, but one of the things that you absolutely have to do is have room temperature butter. So to speed that along a little bit, I'm going to show you a little trick that I have. So I've got 2 glasses, real glass, not plastic, filled with water, and I put them in the microwave for a minute. I heated up that water really good, so now the glasses are very warm. So be careful. We're going to pour out our glass, and then we're going to put it over the top of our butter. Same thing with this one. Give it about 3 minutes, and it'll be ready to go and ready to cook with. Okay, so while my butter is softening under those glasses, I'm going to put together my dry ingredients. So today I have all-purpose flour, but I use whatever I have. So if I were to have self-rising flour, I could use it to make these cookies. I'm just following the recipe on the back of the chocolate chip bag. It says all-purpose flour, but if you have self-rising flour, use it. Just don't put any baking powder into the recipe. Just use the self-rising flour without it. But I have all-purpose today, so I'm going to put together the all-purpose flour, the baking soda, and the salt, which are my 3 dry ingredients. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to do my baking soda first, and I buy baking soda big because I also use it to clean. So I'm going to put a bit of my baking soda in a smaller container, makes it easier to deal with, and I need 1 teaspoon. So I'm measuring out that 1 teaspoon and put it in my mixing bowl. And now the recipe says 2 1/4 cup of flour. Because I have a secret ingredient I'm going to put in it, I'm only going to put 2 cups. 2 cups of my all-purpose flour. So when you measure flour, make sure you're using a measuring cup where you can get it flat all the way to the top. So there's 1 cup. Two cups. The last ingredient that I need to put in is my salt. Again, I'm going to pour this over not over what I'm using, just in case I go over. I don't want to ruin the flour that I currently have in there. I need 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to put that in there. Now that I have everything together, now I need to stir it up together. Okay, so I've stirred up my dry ingredients together. So now I'm going to start putting together the wet ingredients. Part of those wet ingredients are 2 eggs. I'm going to crack those eggs into a separate bowl because it makes it a lot easier if I accidentally drop down a shell to fish it out of that. And then I'm not ruining any kind of batter with a shell. So I tap it, I put my fingers in the hole that I created from the tap, and I pull. And then put 1 shell inside the other, and it's ready to go away. Another egg, I'm going to tap it, put my fingers in the hole with the tap, pull gently. Okay, so I've cracked my eggs, they're ready to go. Okay, I got my eggs cracked. I'm going to go ahead and put them into the larger bowl now that I know that it's shell-free. And I'm going to beat those eggs. All right, very good. Now I'm going to add my butter. It should be nice and soft by now. It is ready to go into the bowl. You don't want to melt your butter. If you melt your butter, your cookies will turn out very flat. You just want it soft. Okay, so now I'm going to start mushing that butter up. Okay, so I've got my eggs and my butter kind of creamed together. Now it's much easier if you have a stand mixer to be able to do this in, but I wanted to show you that you can do it even if you don't have one of those fancy things to do it with. The next thing I'm going to put in is my brown sugar. Now the recipe says 3/4 cup of brown sugar, but it wants it to be firmly packed. I just put in a a full cup of sugar, but I do not firmly pack it. So I'm gonna dump that in. And then it asks for 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. So then that goes in next. I've got a 1/4 measuring cup, so 3 of these go in. All right. And then our vanilla. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna stir it all together. Okay, so I have all my wet ingredients together, and remember when we put our dry ingredients together, I said we're gonna put in only 2 cups of flour instead of 2 1/4 like it asked for, because this is my secret ingredient. It is Jell-O brand vanilla pudding. You can use any brand vanilla pudding. I'm just partial to Jell-O because that's what I've always used. So it has to be cook and serve. It can't be instant, it has to be cook and serve. So I'm gonna go and open my package, and I'm gonna put the whole package into this wet ingredient mixture. Okay, so I have all of my wet ingredients plus my secret ingredient together. Now it's time to start adding the dry ingredients, that flour, baking soda, and salt into my wet ingredients. I'm gonna do it just a little at a time and then stir it up. Otherwise, it's gonna be just really difficult to get all of that dry ingredient mixed in. Okay, so I've got my wet and my dry ingredients mixed. I'm a little out of breath because the more of those dry ingredients that I put down in there, the more I was giving my arm a workout. It is a very thick dough. So now I'm ready to put my chocolate chips in. And I just love mini chocolate chips. I think that they distribute so well into a chocolate chip cookie. So I'm gonna pour the whole bag into my mixture. And now I'm gonna give my arm a real workout working these down into the bottom of this batter. It smells so good, I couldn't resist. I've already tasted it, and boy, is it good. Okay, so I have all my ingredients mixed up, and I don't know if you noticed or not, but I was actually mixing everything with a fork. From the very beginning to the very end, I mixed with a large fork. And so here's our dough. Doesn't that just look great? I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator. It needs to cool for about 5 minutes before I start scooping it to put onto my baking stones. Okay, so as I've been waiting for my dough to get chilled a little bit, I've cleaned up my cookie mess. So all I have to clean up afterward is going to be the bowl the dough is in and the stones that I actually cooked the cookies on. So it's been 5 minutes. Let's get this chilled dough out of the refrigerator. Okay, so I use a little cookie dough scoop, especially made just to make cookies with so you get the right amount, but a lot of people don't have these, and you don't have to have these. You can actually use just 2 spoons. You get a little spoonful of dough with 1 spoon, and then you use the other spoon. Then you use the other spoon to get it off and onto the pan. So I'm going to go back to my scoop because I just love it. It's just so handy and easy to use. And then that way I'm sure that my cookies are about the same size. You should be able to get 12 cookies on a cookie sheet or even a baking stone. 12 cookies will fit nicely. We're not going to press them down or anything. We're just going to put them on there. Just drop them right on there, just the way they come out of the cookie scoop. I have set my oven to 375 degrees. Now, if you know your oven very well and you know that maybe that's going to be a little too hot for your oven, then do it a little bit cooler. If you are going to cook on a dark colored baking sheet, reduce that temperature to about 325, just because the bottom of your cookies will burn if you don't. Okay, so they're ready to go in the oven. Okay, so 375 oven, I'm going to put them on the middle rack between 8 and 11 minutes. We'll just check on them and see what it needs. Okay, youngins, while I'm waiting on this first batch of cookies, I'm going to put this dough back in the fridge so it stays chilled. I set a timer, and if you don't have a timer on your oven, pull out your phones and set you a timer so you don't forget your cookies. All right, look how beautiful these cookies are. I have waited about a minute after I pulled them out of the oven just to give them a minute just to settle. And oftentimes when you first pull them out, they'll look a little moist on the top, but as you let them set, that moisture, it will kind of dry up. And so that's when you know they're ready to take off of the stone. Okay, so I have a cookie rack that I'm putting them on, but you don't have to have a cookie rack. If you've got some paper towels, you can also use paper towels to let your cookies rest before you decide how you're going to store them. You can store them either in a plastic bag, a plastic container, a glass Pyrex, which is what I'm going to do. You know, whatever you have available. All right, youngins, I hope you're going to enjoy this recipe as you make it for yourself, your family, your friends. Please like this video, subscribe, but most importantly, I'd like for you to put in the comments how I can pray for you today. You are worth my time. You're definitely worth your own time. I send you a hug.